The human ship drifted into our sensor range like a piece of cosmic garbage, all sputtering engines and desperate distress signals. Commander Vrel 9 clicked his mandibles in what passed for amusement among the Kytheron Empire. "Another derelict?" His aide, Thask, inquired, adjusting the viewing screen with one of her 6 delicate appendages. "Appears so," Vrel 9 replied, his compound eyes reflecting the pathetic sight before them. "Scan it. Let us see what sort of refuse the galaxy has thrown our way this time." The Kytheron had ruled this sector for 3,000 cycles. They were not cruel by nature, merely indifferent. When you stood 12 feet tall, possessed exoskeletons that could withstand plasma fire, and commanded technology that bent space itself, you tended to view smaller species as inconvenient. Bugs, if you will. Annoying little creatures that occasionally needed swatting. The scan results materialized in holographic splendor. "Life signs?" Vrel 9 asked, not particularly caring about the answer. "Affirmative, Commander. 73 beings. Classification, human. Origin, Sol system. Third planet. Designation, Earth." Thask paused, mandibles twitching. "They are requesting assistance. Engine failure. Life support failing. Standard distress protocols." Vrel 9 made a dismissive gesture. "Log it. Move on. We have a schedule to maintain." "Commander," Thask ventured carefully, "Imperial protocol does require we offer minimal aid to 2 species of strategic importance." Vrel 9 interrupted, his voice carrying that particular harmonic frequency that indicated boredom. "Tell me, Thask, how many human vessels have we encountered in the past 5 cycles?" "This would be the first, Commander." "Precisely. They are insignificant. A minor species barely capable of reaching their own moon, let alone posing any relevance to our operations. Their ship will drift, they will expire, and the universe will continue spinning without missing a beat." He turned away from the screen. "Set course for the Gamma outpost. We have tariffs to collect." What Commander Vrel 9 could not possibly know, could not even begin to fathom in his 3,000-cycle-old arrogance, was that aboard that dying ship sat a woman named Kira Vasquez. She was the chief engineer, and she was absolutely livid. "They ignored us," she said, her voice tight with controlled fury. "They just scanned us and flew away." Captain Jules Hoffman ran a hand through his graying hair, his face illuminated by the dying emergency lights. "Save your anger. We need solutions, not emotions." "Solutions?" Kira laughed, and it was not a pleasant sound. "Captain, we have maybe 6 hours of oxygen left. The reactor is slag. Communications are fried beyond anything I can fix with spare parts and prayer. What solutions am I supposed to pull from the void?" "Then we make peace with it," Jules said quietly. "Like hell." Everyone in the cramped command deck turned to look at Tommy Chen, a kid, really, barely 22, who served as their communications specialist. His eyes had that particular gleam that engineers and hackers get when they are about to do something monumentally stupid or brilliantly insane. "Tommy?" Jules prompted. "I got their comm signature," Tommy said, fingers already dancing across his battered console. "When they scanned us, it was two-way data flow. They looked at us, I looked at them. And, Captain, their systems are old. Like, ridiculously old. Advanced, sure, but old. You know what old systems have?" "Vulnerabilities," Kira breathed, suddenly interested. "Exactly," Tommy grinned. "Give me 4 hours. I can get into their network. Maybe not deep, but enough to cause problems." Jules considered this for exactly 3 seconds. "Do it. Everyone else, start going through every system we have. I want anything that can be weaponized, modified, or used to make noise." We tried asking nicely. Clearly, that did not work. Kira smiled, and it was not a nice smile. Time to be the squeaky wheel. 3 hours and 47 minutes later, Commander Vrel 9 was reviewing resource allocations when every screen on his command ship simultaneously displayed the same image. A human middle finger, rotating slowly in 3-dimensional space. "What in the name of the First Queen is that?" he demanded. Before Thask could answer, the ship's speakers erupted with sound, music, if you could call it that. Loud, discordant, with heavy percussion, and something that might have been singing but sounded more like controlled screaming. "It is called metal," Thask reported, having to shout over the noise. "Earth origin. A form of aggressive musical expression. Turn it off." "I am trying, Commander." "The system is not responding." The music changed. Now it was something with repetitive lyrics and an annoyingly catchy melody. Something about never giving up, never letting down, never running around. "Is this some form of psychological warfare?" Vrel 9 clicked in distress. "Possibly," Thask offered, still frantically working her controls. The screens changed again. Now they showed mathematical equations. Simple ones at first. 2 + 2 = 4. 3 × 3 = 9. Then they got progressively more complex, each one appearing for exactly 1.3 seconds before being replaced by the next. "Commander, our navigation systems are experiencing minor fluctuations," another crew member reported. "Minor? They are being overwhelmed with calculation requests. Someone is asking our systems to solve." They are asking them to calculate the last digit of pi." Vrel 9 stared. "Pi is infinite." "Yes, Commander. Our systems know this. They are very frustrated about being asked anyway." That was when the lights started flickering. Not all at once, but in sequence, creating a strobing effect that was deeply uncomfortable for Kytheron compound eyes. "Enough," Vrel 9 roared. "Locate that human vessel, immediately." "Already done, Commander. Shall I open a channel?" "Yes, and make sure our weapons are charged." The view screen cleared, showing the interior of the human ship. It looked like it had been through a war. But the humans themselves? They looked pleased with themselves. Captain Jules Hoffman nodded pleasantly. "Commander Vrel 9, I presume. Thank you for taking our call. We tried earlier, but you seemed busy." "You dare." Yeah, I dare," Jules interrupted, waving a hand dismissively. "Here is the situation, Commander. We are dying. You noticed this, scanned us, and decided we were not worth your time. Fair enough, I suppose. Big important insect alien has places to be, tariffs to collect, probably some smaller species to step on. We get it." Vrel 9 clicked his mandibles dangerously. "You overstep, human." "Oh, I am just getting started," Jules continued, his smile never wavering. "See, we realize something. You are not going to help us out of kindness. Fine. But you are going to help us, because if you do not, we are going to be the most annoying thing that has ever happened to you. You are one small ship. We are the Kytheron Empire." "Exactly," Tommy shouted from off-screen. "You are huge. You know what that means? Lots of ships, lots of systems, lots of networks. And guess what? You all use the same protocols, the same communication standards. It is beautiful, really, from an efficiency standpoint. Also makes you incredibly vulnerable to one persistent hacker with nothing to lose." "Hey, Commander," Kira called out, stepping into view. "Quick question. How annoying would it be if, say, every airlock in your fleet randomly opened and closed? Not enough to be dangerous, just inconvenient. Or if all your food synthesizers started producing everything slightly too salty. Or if every morning, every screen in every ship displayed baby animal pictures from Earth for exactly 37. You could not possibly—" "Oh, but we could," Jules assured him. "See, you made a mistake, Commander. You thought we were bugs. Something to be ignored, swatted away, forgotten. But bugs? They are really hard to get rid of once they infest something. And humans? We are exceptionally good at being pests when we want to be." Vrel 9 felt something unfamiliar creeping up his dorsal spine. Was it worry? "What do you want?" "Repairs," Jules said simply. "Materials, technical assistance, and maybe a jump start for our reactor. Give us that, and we will leave you alone. We will disappear into the void. You will never hear from us again. And if I refuse?" Tommy popped back into frame, grinning like a maniac. "Then every ship in your fleet is going to start receiving spam calls about extended warranties on their vessels. Also, I found your equivalent of social media. Did you know your personal account is really easy to hack? Your password was QueenMother123. Really, Commander, that is just embarrassing." Vrel 9's mandibles clicked in rapid agitation. "You would not. Try me. I have already drafted 17 embarrassing posts in your name. My favorite is the one about how you think the Kytheron Empire should adopt more progressive taxation policies, and also that you enjoy collecting ceramic figurines of Earth cats. Silence filled the void between the two. Ships. Finally, Vrel 9 spoke, his voice low and dangerous. If I provide this assistance, you will cease these activities? Immediately, Jules promised. You will never see or hear from us again. Another long pause. Then, Thask, dispatch a repair team. Provide them with whatever materials they need. Commander? Thask asked, clearly confused. Do it? Now, before I change my mind. As the channel closed, Vrel 9 slumped in his command chair. 3,000 cycles of military service, countless battles, diplomatic negotiations spanning entire sectors, and he had just been defeated by spam, loud music, and the threat of embarrassing social media posts. Commander? Thask ventured. Perhaps we should update our cybersecurity protocols? Perhaps, Vrel 9 agreed wearily. And Thask, make a note in the Imperial database. Humans. Status upgraded from irrelevant to potentially problematic. Recommend future aid compliance to avoid complications. Yes, Commander. Shall I classify them as a threat? Vrel 9 considered this, watching as his repair team's shuttle departed toward the human vessel. No, not a threat, just annoying. Very, very annoying. He did not know it then, but his update would ripple through Imperial channels, passed along with knowing clicks and warning harmonics. Other commanders would heed the warning, others would not, but they would all learn eventually. Humans were not bugs you could simply ignore. They were pests, and pests had a way of getting everywhere, into everything, making noise until you paid attention. And once they had your attention, well, that was when things got really interesting. 6 months later, the story of the annoying humans had become something of a legend among Kytheron patrol fleets. Most dismissed it as exaggeration. Commander Vrel 9 wished they were right. The incident report sat on Admiral Krenth Prime's desk like an accusation. She read it 3 times, certain she was misunderstanding something fundamental about reality itself. Let me be absolutely clear, she said, her voice carrying the harmonic frequency reserved for barely controlled rage. A human trade vessel, just one, has caused the complete shutdown of our customs station at the Helios Junction. Lieutenant Braksink shifted uncomfortably. Yes, Admiral. How? They filed paperwork. Krenth Prime's antennae twitched. Excuse me? Customs forms, Admiral. They filed over 9,000 individual customs declarations, each one technically correct, but requiring manual verification. They declared every single item on their ship separately, including each individual grain of rice in their food stores, each bolt, each wire, each. The manifest is 4,000 pages long. This is clearly malicious compliance. Technically, Admiral, they are following our regulations exactly. We cannot legally refuse to process their paperwork. Krenth Prime made a sound that no translation software could adequately render. Where is this vessel now? Still docked, Admiral. The processing is expected to take 3 weeks. 3 weeks? They also requested 14 different permits, applied for temporary residency for their captain while waiting, filed a formal complaint about the temperature in the waiting area, and submitted a suggestion that the station cafeteria should offer more vegetarian options. Each of these requires a response per Imperial protocol. The Admiral's mandibles clicked in agitation. Get them out, pay them off, bribe them. I do not care. Just get them out of my sector. We tried, Admiral. They are refusing any offers until their paperwork is processed. Quote, we want to make sure we are doing everything by the book. End quote. Krenth Prime looked at the report again, a horrible realization dawning. Contact Commander Vrel 9, immediately. When Vrel 9's image appeared on the screen, he looked tired in a way that transcended species. You encountered them. You knew this would happen? I suspected. They are spreading, Admiral. Not through military force or colonization, through being absolutely insufferable. He gestured to something off-screen. I have been tracking reports. 3 human ships have entered our territory in the last 4 months. None have caused problems in the traditional sense, but every single station they visit experiences complications. What kind of complications? Vrel 9 pulled up a file. Station Tark 7. Humans complained that the artificial gravity was 0.03% off standard. They were correct. The complaint required a full system inspection that took 2 weeks. Station Meridian. Humans organized a cultural exchange program that somehow resulted in half the station's crew learning a human gambling game called poker. They now have a weekly tournament. Productivity has dropped 11%. This is absurd. Station Gamma, my current post. A human survey team has been here for 3 weeks studying our waste recycling systems. They have filed 17 suggestions for improvement, all of which, I might add, would actually increase efficiency by 7 to 9%. My superiors are thrilled. I am exhausted. Krenth Prime felt her exoskeleton itch with frustration. There must be something we can do. Military action? Against traders and survey teams following all laws and regulations? That would violate 200 cycles of imperial policy. Also, Admiral, I have reviewed the incident reports. The humans are not breaking laws. They are weaponizing bureaucracy against us. Our own bureaucracy. Weaponizing paperwork, Krenth Prime repeated slowly. The Empire has stood for millennia, and we are being defeated by forms and suggestions. Not defeated, Vrel 9 corrected. Annoyed into submission. There is a difference. Before the Admiral could respond, her aide burst in. Admiral, emergency transmission from the Imperial Core. The screen changed, revealing Grand Executor Threx Alpha, whose authority superseded entire fleets. His presence in this conversation meant something significant had occurred. Admiral Krenth Prime, Commander Vrel 9, he acknowledged. You are both aware of the human situation? Yes, Executor, they replied in unison. Then you should know it has escalated. A human delegation has arrived at the Imperial homeworld. Silence. Impossible, Krenth Prime finally said. We did not grant them permission to. They did not ask permission. They simply arrived and requested a meeting with the Imperial Council. Under the open contact provision of the Galactic Community Charter, which we are signatories to but have not had to honor in 800 cycles because nobody has bothered invoking it. Threx Alpha's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or horror. They brought gifts. What kind of gifts? Vrel 9 asked warily. Coffee, apparently. A stimulant beverage from their homeworld. Half the council is now addicted to it. Minister Vex 12 has requisitioned 3 crates for personal use. The humans have offered to establish a trade agreement for its import. Threx Alpha paused. They are also offering their assistance with something they call efficiency consulting. Absolutely not, Krenth Prime said immediately. Too late. Council has approved a preliminary agreement. The humans will conduct a 6-month assessment of Imperial operations with the goal of identifying inefficiencies. He leaned closer to the screen. I am telling you this because both of your sectors have been selected for the pilot program. Vrel 9 felt something inside him break. Executor, with respect, these humans are annoying, persistent, impossible to get rid of once they establish a foothold? Threx Alpha interrupted. Yes, I am aware. I have been dealing with their chief negotiator, a woman named Elena Ruiz, for 3 days straight. Do you know what she did? I am almost afraid to ask. She found a 1400-cycle-old regulation that technically requires all Imperial meetings to provide refreshments for visiting delegates. Nobody has enforced this in living memory. She insisted on its implementation. Then, she critiqued the quality of our refreshments for 2 hours. Threx Alpha made a sound of defeat. She was correct about everything. Our refreshment protocols are outdated and inefficient. Her suggestions will save the Imperial household approximately 37,000 credits per cycle. So, we are just allowing them to infiltrate our entire government, Krenth Prime demanded. We are not allowing anything. They are simply there, being helpful and annoying in equal measure. Threx Alpha straightened. Here is the reality. We can fight this, waste resources trying to expel them, and deal with the bureaucratic nightmares they will inevitably create in response. Or we can accept that humans are now part of our sector's ecosystem and learn to work with them. They blackmailed us into helping them, Vrel 9 pointed out. Yes, and now they are helping us improve our systems, establish trade agreements, and generally making themselves indispensable while being incredibly irritating. Threx Alpha's tone shifted to something almost philosophical. We thought they were bugs, Commander. Insignificant creatures to be swatted or ignored. But bugs adapt. They find ways to survive. And these particular bugs have evolved a very specific survival strategy. Being pests, Krenth Prime said flatly. Precisely. And the thing about pests, you cannot ignore them. You cannot kill them without consequences. You can only learn to coexist with them. He gestured broadly. The Empire has faced warrior races, technological marvels, species with abilities that defied physics. We have defeated or absorbed them all. But humans? They do not fight us directly. They do not challenge our strength. They just persist. They fill out forms, make suggestions, organize cultural exchanges, and before you know it, they are everywhere. What do you recommend, Executor? Adapt. These efficiency consultants they are sending. Let them do their work, take their suggestions, drink their coffee, learn their poker game, because fighting them takes more energy than accommodating them, and that is exactly what they have calculated. After the transmission ended, Krenth Prime and Vrel 9 sat in silence for a long moment. We were better off when they were just a dying ship asking for help, Vrel 9 said finally. Agreed. 3 weeks. Later, the human efficiency consultant arrived at Krenth Prime's station. Her name was Maya Foster, and she was terrifyingly cheerful. Admiral, so great to meet you, Maya said, somehow making the translator render her enthusiasm accurately. I have reviewed your operational reports and oh my goodness, we have so much work to do, but do not worry, by the time I am done, this station is going to run like a dream. I am certain it will, Krenth Prime replied, already exhausted. Maya was true to her word. Over the next weeks, she identified 17 different inefficiencies, proposed solutions for 12 ongoing logistical problems, and somehow convinced the Admiral's entire command staff that morning briefings should be shorter and include snacks. She was right about everything. The station's efficiency increased by 14%. Morale actually improved. And Krenth Prime found herself grudgingly respecting the small human who had turned her orderly station upside down. One evening, the Admiral found Maya in the observation deck, watching the stars. You planned all of this, Krenth Prime said. It was not a question. Maya smiled. Not exactly. We just knew that if we were annoying enough, eventually you would pay attention. And once you paid attention, we could show you that we are more useful as allies than as problems. That ship, the first one Commander Vrel 9 encountered, that was not an accident, was it? Oh no, the engine failure was completely real. We really were dying. Maya turned to face the Admiral. But Tommy, our communications guy, he is legitimately brilliant. Once he got into your systems, he realized your entire empire runs on infrastructure that is technologically advanced but procedurally ancient. You have all this power, but you use it inefficiently. So you decided to infiltrate us. We decided to make ourselves indispensable, Maya corrected. Look, humanity is new to this whole galactic community thing. We are small, we are weak compared to species like yours, and we do not have some amazing technology or superpowers that make us special. But you know what we do have? The ability to be incredibly annoying? Maya laughed. That, yes. But also adaptability. We have spent our entire history figuring out how to survive in environments that should have killed us. We did not evolve as apex predators. We were prey animals who learned to use tools, form communities, and be too stubborn to die. And those same skills? They work on a galactic scale. So your strategy for galactic survival is to be pests. Our strategy is to be useful pests, Maya clarified. Pests you cannot get rid of because getting rid of us causes more problems than keeping us around. Plus, we bring coffee and improve your efficiency ratings. That helps. Krenth Prime's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. You realize we could still crush your entire species if we wanted to. Sure, you absolutely could. But why would you? We file your paperwork correctly, we improve your systems, we teach you poker, and we only occasionally hack your social media accounts. Maya grinned. Face it, Admiral. You are stuck with us now. We are like that fungus that grows in your shower. Impossible to completely eliminate and actually kind of useful in small doses. That is possibly the least inspiring diplomatic metaphor I have ever heard. Yeah, well, we are not great at inspiring speeches. We are better at being persistent. Maya looked back at the stars. 6 months ago, you did not know we existed. Now we are running efficiency audits on your stations and teaching your crew card games. Give us 6 more months, and we will probably have trade agreements with half the sector, not because we are powerful or threatening, but because we are here, we are helpful, and we are not going anywhere. Somewhere in the void, Captain Jules Hoffman received a transmission from Maya Foster. Her report was simple: Phase 1 complete. Humanity had gone from ignored bugs to acknowledged pests to somehow almost partners. It was not glorious, it was not the stuff of legends, but it was working. And as Jules sat in his newly repaired ship, drinking coffee that was becoming popular across 3 sectors, he smiled. Humanity had found its niche in the galaxy. Not as conquerors or saviors or even particularly interesting aliens, they had become the species you could not get rid of, did not really want to get rid of, and eventually just learned to live with. They were pests, but they were useful pests. And in the vast, complicated ecosystem of galactic civilization, that was more than enough. Admiral Krenth Prime stood on her station, watching Maya Foster teach a group of Kytheron engineers something called Agile Project Management, and realized something profound. The humans had not invaded. They had not conquered. They had simply shown up, refused to leave, made themselves useful, and somehow become part of the furniture. It was, she had to admit, a brilliant strategy, even if it was incredibly annoying. Somewhere in Imperial records, Commander Vrel 9's warning remained: humans, potentially problematic, recommend compliance to avoid complications. It should have read, humans, absolutely impossible to get rid of, just give them what they want, and maybe they will improve your efficiency ratings. But that would not fit in the standard format. And if there was one thing humans had taught the Kytheron Empire, it was that sometimes the standard format needed updating. Usually right around the time someone filed their 9,000th customs declaration or taught your entire command staff how to play poker. The galaxy continued spinning, the Kytheron Empire continued ruling, and humanity continued being the most useful, annoying, persistent species anyone had ever encountered. They considered us bugs. We became pests, and pests, as any exterminator will tell, if you are remarkably good at surviving,